Welcome all of you. Today we have left our third derivation, that is magnetic field intensity H bar due to a circular loop, circular current carrying loop. Okay, in the previous classes we have discussed the derivations of magnetic field intensity H bar due to a infinite line charge, and also we have derived the expressions for infinite sheet charge like that. Now the third one that is left is the magnetic field intensity H bar due to an circular loop of conductor. Okay, so for that let us revise the Biot-Savart's law once again. The scientists by name Biot and Savart, they conducted some experiments relating the electric field and magnetic field, and they proved that the differential magnetic field intensity dH bar, differential magnetic field intensity dH bar is equal to IDL sin theta by 4 pi r square. This is the magnitude of the differential magnetic field intensity due to a differential length in a current carrying conductor at some point P. This is the only the magnitude. But in our subject we need to know both magnitude as well as direction for this dH bar. That means vector form of this Biot-Savart's law is given as, take this assumption, consider a current carrying conductor. This is a current carrying conductor of some length L, capital L. Now the current that is flowing in this conductor is I. The whole length of this conductor is L. I need to find the magnetic field intensity at this point P due to this current carrying conductor. So from our previous derivations in our previous units, we can clearly observe that we can't find the intensity due to the whole length of the conductor at a time. Just first we will consider only a small differential length dl, and due to this differential length, what is the amount of magnetic field intensity that we are going to get, we need to calculate. Okay, so join this line to the point P, and this is angle theta. Okay, now consider this as the second point and this dl as the first point. Now what is the differential current element? IDL. This is the differential current element. Okay, now Biot-Savart's law states that the differential magnetic field intensity due to a differential length in the conductor is directly proportional to the differential current element IDL and sine of the angle between the line joining the point P and this differential element dl. Now in vector form we need to represent the unit vectors, distance vectors, everything. Then only we can know the direction in which the magnetic field intensity is acting. Okay, now your direction is from point 1 to point 2 because due to this differential length of the conductor, current carrying conductor, we need to find the magnetic field intensity at point P. That means at the second point. We can represent it as dH2. That means differential magnetic field intensity at point 2 due to the differential length at point 1. Okay, now mark the direction towards point P, means like this. Now the distance vector here is taken as r12 and the unit vector in this direction is AR12. Okay, now including all these, we have already proved that this differential magnetic field intensity dH2 is equal to IDL cross AR12 divided by 4 pi R12 square. Okay, so this is the unit vector and this is the distance, magnitude of the distance R12. So this is the final expression for vector form of the Biot-Savart's law. Now we are going to use these expressions for deriving some expressions for magnetic field intensity due to infinite line charge due to a circular ring, like that. Okay, now already we completed the derivation for magnetic field intensity due to a infinite line charge at some point P. That derivation is already completed and the value of H bar is I by 2 pi r into A phi. that we have already derived, that is completed in my previous lecture. Now today we are going to derive the expression for magnetic field intensity due to a circular loop. Okay, let us take the assumptions for that. So magnetic field intensity H due to a circular loop, circular current carrying loop. Magnetic field intensity due to a circular current carrying loop. That means just a straight current carrying conductor is bent in the shape of a circle, that's all. Now for this derivation I am taking the assumption that the circular conductor is kept in xy plane. Okay, let us take those axes. This is x axis, y axis, z axis. Okay, now this is the origin. Now my assumption is that I am considering a circular current carrying loop in xy plane. That means your circular current carrying loop is in this xy plane. That means it will be kept in horizontal plane like this. In this plane you will be having that circular current carrying loop. Okay, so and I am also taking that the center of this circle is this origin. The center of the circle is origin. Now in this loop some I amount of current is flowing. The amount of current that is flowing in this circular loop is I. Okay, so now due to this current carrying circular loop I want to find the magnetic field intensity H bar at some point P. Let that point P be on the z axis. You can consider this point on any axis or in space or anywhere, but for our simplicity we are considering this point on some axis so that it is easy to derive. Now I am considering the point P on z axis. Now due to this circular current carrying loop I want to calculate the magnetic field intensity at this point P, which is on z axis. Okay, which is on z axis. So let us mark the distances. Now as this point is on z axis, let us consider this height as some z. And what is the unit vector in z axis? The unit vector is z axis is a z bar. The unit vector in z axis is a z bar, that we already know. Now instead of finding the complete magnetic field intensity at this point P due to the complete length of circular current loop, I will consider only a small differential length. That means the length or circumference of this circular loop is some L. From that L I am taking only a small differential length, which is dl. From the whole circular loop I will consider only a small differential length dl, and due to this dl first I want to find the differential magnetic field intensity dh at this point P. Now the distance between your point P and this differential length is marked like this. Okay, and due to this differential length dl you want to find the magnetic field intensity at P. That means this is the second point where you need to find the magnetic field intensity. You can apply that here formula. Now this is the first point where your differential length dl is kept. And what is the current that is flowing in this loop? That is I. Okay, now due to this loop, due to this differential length in that loop, I want to find the magnetic field intensity at this point P, which is point number 2. Now let us mark the distances. The distance from the origin to this differential length is, consider the radius of this circular loop as some r. Okay, radius of this circular loop as some r. And actually if you consider cylindrical coordinate system, in cylindrical system, what is the unit vector that is perpendicular to the surface? If you consider a cylinder that is placed along this circle, If you consider a cylinder that is placed along this circle, now this is nothing but the outer border of that cylinder. That means the radius of that cylinder is also r. Now the unit vector that is perpendicular to that surface of the cylinder will be ar. This is ar, but your point P is inside that cylinder. Your point P is inside that cylinder. That means instead of coming out, you should go inside towards that point P. Here you can mark minus ar bar, and your radius is r. Okay. Now this height of the point P from origin is z, and the unit vector in this direction is az. The radius of this circle is r, and the unit vector in the towards the point direction is minus ar, and your actual distance from point P, from this point P to this differential length dl bar, let it be some r12. From differential length towards the point P means your arrow mark should be like this. Okay, your arrow mark should be like this, and the distance vector here is r12, and the unit vector is ar12. Okay, so these are the notations. Now to find the distance vector r12, to find the distance vector r12, what is the way how you can find the distance between point P and dl? Point P and dl distance is r12. How you can go from point P to dl? You can start from point P. You can come like this. No. Okay. So you can go from this path. Actually, you should go from differential length dl to the point P. Okay, like this you should go from the differential length dl to the point P. That means while going, how you can go? You can go from dl bar to this origin, and from origin to this point P on the z axis. Okay, from here to here and from here to here. Like that we can go from dl bar to point P. So while going like this, what is the distance that is covered? R, and the unit vector is minus ar bar. That means minus r into ar bar. And here what is the distance that is covered? Z. Z into the unit vector is az bar. Okay. So this is the distance vector. Now what is the magnitude of this distance vector? Mod r12 is root over r square plus z square. Now what is this unit vector which is in the direction from dl bar to point P? The unit vector which is in the direction from dl bar to point P is ar12, which is equal to r12 by mod r12. Okay, r12 by mod r12, which is equal to, what is r12? Your distance vector is minus r ar bar plus z az bar by, what is the magnitude? Mod r12 is equal to root over r square plus z square. This is the unit vector. Now we need to find the differential magnetic field intensity dH2 at point P due to this differential current element IDL bar. What is the differential current element here? Your differential length is dl bar, your differential current element is IDL. Okay, current into that differential length. Now according to Biot-Savart's law, the differential magnetic field intensity at this point P, that means second point, due to this differential current element IDL, is given like this: IDL bar cross AR12 by 4 pi R12 square. Already in our previous lectures we have derived the expression for this. So let us find the cross product for this DL bar cross AR12 bar. Already we know the expression for AR12, which is the unit vector. What is the unit vector? Minus AR bar into R plus ZAZ. So find the cross product value. Your DL bar cross AR12 bar. But what is DL bar? Differential length DL bar. Differential length DL in cylindrical coordinate system is R d phi A phi. This already we know from our previous coordinate systems lecture. the differential length dl bar is given as r d phi a phi, okay, which is in phi direction. Now find the cross product for this dl bar and this ar12 unit vector. Take the cylindrical system. Cylindrical system means what are the unit vectors? AR bar, A phi and AZ. These are the three unit vectors that will be mentioned in cylindrical system. What is the first vector? The first vector is DL bar. DL bar means you are having only A phi component. A phi means only here you can write the coefficient for that. Remaining two are zeros. What is A phi coefficient? R D phi. Similarly, what is the other one? AR12. AR12 means here you can go R component is there, so minus R. Phi component is not there here, keep it as 0. And what is the Z component here? Simply Z. Leave the denominator, later we can substitute the denominator for our simplification. So first find the determinant value for this matrix. Okay. Now, if you consider the determinant value, AR bar into, leave this, R d phi into Z minus 0. Next this is 0 and minus R into 0 minus R d phi into AZ. This is the determinant value. So R d phi Z AR bar minus into minus will be plus R square d phi AZ bar. Okay, this is the value of the cross product DL bar cross AR12 bar. Okay, so here this determinant value can be substituted in this formula. This value we can substitute here, and here we should know one concept. Already we are considering a differential length DL. The differential length DL will create a unit vector minus AR bar towards the origin. Similarly, the number of DL bars which you are covering in this circular path, if you add all those DL bars, then that will give the total length. That means consider a small differential length . This will create a circular path. That means if we add number of DLs like this, then that will give you the complete circular path. Now all these DLs will produce a component minus AR bar towards a particular point. That means if I take a point like this, every differential length DL bar will produce a minus AR bar component. All these differential lengths will create minus AR bar components at a particular point. That means at this point, origin point, it is creating a vector minus AR bar. I am considering another point P. Here also, at this point P also, these differential lengths DLs will produce minus AR bar components. All these minus AR bar components will be kept like this. They will be symmetrical, and they will be getting cancelled with each other, so that here radial components will be cancelled. Radial components are cancelled. That means from this determinant value we can neglect this radial component. This AR bar component can be taken as 0, because all these differential length DLs will produce minus AR bars at a point P. They all will be symmetrical and will be cancelled with each other, and this radial component AR bar can be neglected from this term. Okay, so after simplifying, what is your final determinant value? Your final determinant value DL bar cross AR12 bar is equal to R square d phi AZ bar. R square d phi AZ bar. Now if you substitute this value here, then we can find the differential magnetic field intensity. Now consider this formula. differential magnetic field intensity dH2 at point 2, that means at point P, due to this differential length, is given as I into what is dl bar cross AR12 bar value? Dl bar cross AR12 bar value is r square d phi Az, r square d phi Az divided by 4 pi into what is the magnitude of the distance for R12? Magnitude of the distance is root over r square plus z square. That means root r square plus z square whole square, because it is r square. And also in our previous step I told that in your unit vector this denominator is neglected in that previous step, and now you should substitute it again because this is left out denominator. Again I am substituting root r square plus z square. Now on simplifying this, your dH2 is equal to I r square d phi Az divided by 4 pi into r square plus z square. See here root and square will be cancelled, that means to the power of 1, and here to the power of 1 by 2. If bases are equal, powers will be added. 1 plus 1 by 2 is equal to 3 by 2. Now up to here it is okay. Now the differential magnetic field intensity due to this differential length dl bar is calculated. Now I want to find the complete magnetic field intensity due to the complete circumference or length of the circular loop. That means it is enough if you integrate on both sides, then complete intensity can be obtained. But by integrating, what are the limits that you should substitute? Here what is the variable? The only variable is d phi. The only variable is d phi, so we should integrate it from phi varying from 0 to 2 pi, which we already know. So let us substitute that. So if you integrate this differential magnetic field intensity, then on the left hand side you will get H2, complete magnetic field intensity at this point P, due to the complete length of the circular loop, which is equal to integral of phi varying from 0 to 2 pi. Why we are taking only phi variation, remaining terms why we are not considering means, here the only variable term is d phi. That's why we are taking limits only for phi. So I r square by 4 pi into r square plus z square whole power 3 by 2 Az bar. The only variable term is d phi. Everything is constant here because all these are r and z terms. The only phi term that is present is integral 1 d phi is left out. That's all. Integral 1 d phi means integral 1 d phi is equal to phi. If you are varying it from 0 to 2 pi, you can substitute it here, 2 pi minus 0, that is 2 pi. Now this integral phi running from 0 to 2 pi d phi value is 2 pi. Remaining term is constant. We can leave it like that. So I r square by 4 pi into r square plus z square whole power 3 by 2 Az bar into the left out term is 2 pi. Now this 2 pi and 4 pi will get cancelled 2 times, and your final magnetic field intensity at this point P due to this complete circular loop is obtained as I r square by 2 into r square plus z square whole power 3 by 2 into, in which direction you are taking this point? You are considering this point on z axis. So the unit vector that will be left out is Az. Okay, this is the final formula. The magnetic field intensity H at this point P, that means the second point, due to this complete circular current carrying loop is given as H2 is equal to IR square by 2 into r square plus z square whole power 3 by 2 into Az bar, and the unit for magnetic field intensity is ampere per meter. This is the final formula for H at point P due to this circular current carrying loop. This is the first part of our derivation. Next, our assumption is that, keep this formula like that only, I am considering only a circular current carrying loop. Now I want to find the magnetic field intensity exactly at the center of the circular current carrying loop. That means this point P is shifted to here, exactly at the center. Exactly at the center I am shifting the point. Consider the same expressions, same assumptions also. So here again your circular conductor is placed in xy plane. Your circle is placed in xy plane only. Instead of finding h at a point P at some height h, now I am shifting this point P to the origin. Exactly I want to find h at the center of the circular loop. Center of the circular loop. This is also a very important topic. So if you want to find h bar exactly at the center of the loop, consider the same assumption. Your center will be origin. Your center will be origin. If you shift this point P to origin, what will happen to this distance? Z will become 0. Remaining all assumptions are same. So exactly at this point P, if you want to find the magnetic field intensity, Z value will become 0. And how will this formula will improve? This formula will improve as H2 is equal to I R square by Z is becoming 0. So by 2 R square whole power 3 by 2 into AZ bar. Because here Z is 0 means only R term will be left out. So R square whole power 3 by 2 means R cube. R square by R cube means 1 R will be left out. So your H2 is equal to I by 2R. I by 2R into AZ amperes per meter. Just a small modification. If exactly at the center of the circular loop I want to find the magnetic field intensity, then shift this point P to the center of the circle which is at origin, then this height Z will become 0, and in this formula you can substitute Z equal to 0, and now the magnetic field intensity at the center is equal to I by 2R into AZ ampere per meter. Okay. This is your complete derivation for magnetic field intensity due to a circular current carrying loop at a point P which is away from the circle and at a point P which is exactly at the center of the circle according to these assumptions. Okay, thank you.